Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to VidaneTV. Cameraman is sleeping there, seems like. We get a,
Are you on camera?
I don't know, maybe. Not entirely sure what's going on with our camera feed there. There we go. Shazam, just like that. We lost camera 4. I didn't even know. I know we like to say that we're the gap between real racing and sim racing. That's never happened before, in any sense. Good evening and welcome back to VidaneTV. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the production trailer, punching all the buttons, and Ashton Nariki joining me here tonight. Saw some great late model racing last night. We're going to see some more great late model racing here tonight at Slinger.
Yes, we are, and I mean, it's considered the world's fastest quarter mile for a reason, Paul. These guys get the wheels turning around this racetrack. The 33-degree banking really makes it exciting. It's a short track, so you're going to see the rubbing, you're going to see the racing.
Absolutely, and we're still in the practice times there. We'll take a peek at the qualifying times. That's more relevant to where we're at now as these drivers are gridded up and ready to rock and roll here at Slinger Speedway. There you see that 28 car, Tanton Woldridge up front, the only driver with a 10.8, 10.896 getting around this quarter mile racetrack. Aston looked it up, so I didn't have to. I know the last time I ran around a quarter mile track, it took me a lot longer than 11 seconds. You see Ryan Messer going to start on the outside there.
Man.
Oh, gosh. Been a minute. Yeah. Well, it's definitely been a minute. You can see that second row, Ashton Tucker, Chris Roma. They're going to be followed by Devin Laffin and Riley Duncan. Now, these guys put on a heck of a show last week as you see the rest of the starting grid. This is boss man Craig Tully in the 50 car starting 7th. Noel Fougier, Caden Tufts, John Byron rounding out the top 10. These guys put on a whale of a race last week, and short schedule, only 7 races on the schedule here tonight. I believe just like last year, we're doing 1 drop week, so you got to bet these guys are wondering what they've got to do to get maximum points here tonight.
Just consistency. You mentioned it, Paul, a short season. So there's not much room for error when it comes to a short season like this one is here. I just noticed on that screen there, Scott Negus had quite a decent qualifying lap. So he's going to start about mid-pack, which is generally about where we see him. But speaking to him quickly before we jumped into the booth here, he didn't seem overly confident. I know he's under the weather. He's been dealing with some pneumonia or something like that lately. But I said I see him on the front stretch, and he didn't seem too confident. But a great qualifying lap as the pace car's already off, and we're getting ready to come to green.
Yeah, this one's going to go quick for sure. Quarter mile around this one. 11-second lap times to be exact. And you can see we're side by side as they get down in. And only 105 laps, 125, easy enough for me to say, on the docket here tonight. They're already starting to get single file for the front 3.
Yeah, and as you can tell, it's going to happen quick. The first thing we're going to notice is that the front of the field, the leaders are going to catch the back of the field with this many cars quite quickly, especially if we go caution-free for any sorts of amount of laps. We've already got one upside down, and we also have a fast lap. Riley Duncan has set the fast lap. There's a mess on the backstretch. There was one upside down in turn 3 and 4. Well, Paul, we talked about short track racing, and we're seeing it firsthand now. These guys are going to get it sorted out and get it re-racked, restacked, but we'll go back and watch the U-House Racing Design replay on this one.
Yeah, we're getting pretty good with this new replay machine here. We got her hooked up. We got some of the buttons anyway hooked up to the old Stream Deck. So now we can go backwards, we can go forwards, we can go backwards again, we can go forwards, we can play at regular time, we can pause, hammer time, and then we can go back live. So we're still working on some of the kinks, some of the new toys here at VidaneTV, but pretty cool that U-House Racing Design jumped back on board with the season-long sponsorship of that replay. That's with all of our leagues here, and man, it's been busy 4 nights a week throughout the month of March. It's gonna be quite cozy here in Vidane HQ. Well, it's gonna be quite busy anyway.
I was gonna say busy, cozy. It's all the same thing. You got to be comfortable if you're gonna be as busy as you are, Paul. I know I'm jumping in for. I know the Monday, Tuesday shows for sure. Wednesday, Thursdays, I'll be in and out whenever I'm available. But it's great to see the platform of VidaneTV and Paul Strickland growing as fast as you are, and I'm really excited to be a part of it.
Oh, I'm glad to have you here as well, man. It's been an exciting 4-year journey, especially the past year and a half, and now that I've kind of finally surrounded myself and surrounded VidaneTV with people that give a damn. It's pretty cool. We're surrounded by folks that really want to see us succeed, just like I succeeded with the English like I give up. we're getting ready to go green. Let's talk about some race cars, shall we?
Absolutely. It's again the front row of the 56 and the 83. 56, a great jump as usual. 10, always a great start. They didn't take that start though. It looked good. It sounded good, but they didn't take it. So I don't know if they're going to go another to green or they're just going to keep it yellow. It's hard to tell. Again, at Slinger, the pace car kind of comes out in a weird spot, so we don't often get to see if the lights are on or off. It looked like Tanton Woolridge was trying to drop to the back. I believe there was contact there with him and Byron, Biron. So I believe he was just trying to jump to the back and just got a little mixed up. But we are back green. Tanton Woolridge out in front, followed by the 83, and the yellow is out again, or... Yeah, we got some calamity. This is ultimate short track racing. So until these guys can get some heat into these tires, heat into the track, we're gonna see a little bit of this. But cautions breed cautions, and we say that often on the broadcast, and it's showing it right here.
Indeed, it is. These guys, there's not much room for error here, and there's just enough room for some short track racing. So you got to bet these guys are going to be utilizing every little bit, every last bit of that racetrack that they can. Caution flag coming out once again here with 113 laps to go. And it's one of those racetracks, it's only a quarter mile around this place. And we saw the qualifying times. We saw Tanton up there with a 10.89 something or other. So they've, the quickest time so far, it was by JJ there, mid-pack or so. JJ McCrane, the 78 car, back in 6th place just a few laps ago. It was at 11.3. So these guys really haven't even gotten the momentum, gotten into their kind of rhythm yet, and this is one of those racetracks that you can bet is absolutely a rhythm racetrack. Once these guys start racking off these laps, you're going to blink and you're going to miss the whole race.
Exactly, and it's going to happen real quick. I mean, we're only, I'm going to say, maybe 20 minutes into the broadcast, Paul, and we're already, quite a few laps into this. Some of them have been yellow laps, so a little slower than what you're going to see the pace come out. But with the 33-degree banking in both corners, it's almost like a bowl. It whips you around that corner on the bottom side. You don't often see that second lane come in. The bottom is usually the preferred lane. But again, with tire wear late in the race, you might see that outside lane wake up a little bit.
Pace car taking that hard right-hand turn here to safety of pit road. Pit lane on the outside of turns 3 and 4, or 1 and 3 and 4, and wherever it is. Green flag flies there from Barney in the flag stand, racing once again here at Slinger. Take a peek back there for the battle of 5th. Noel Fougier in that white and blue 36 car. Taking a peek down low, trying to break his way into the top 5.
Yeah, one that we often give as a guy to watch. He always saves his equipment very well. He always seems to be there at the end. And we have a new quick time from Tanton Woolridge. There's your 11.1. So the speed's picking up. Not a 10.8 just yet, but the speeds are going to start picking up as these cars warm up to this racetrack and they get into a good rhythm. Another quick time, Ashton Tucker, 11.158.
And you'll probably see once he starts to pick up that rhythm, you'll very well be able to see those times get quicker and quicker. I mean, we can take a look at the onboard. There we go, bright orange gloves on board with Tanton Woolridge, the leader, and that's the beauty of this racetrack right now is the clean air. Oh, there it goes. There's already some lap traffic. We've been green for just a couple of laps, but there you see it. Ryan Messer that time, quick time with 11.123.
Yeah, and I'd love to see that he's not necessarily sawing at the wheel just yet. Still early in the race, quick, smooth rhythm into the center, let it come up to the top of the wall. Not a very big racetrack, so there's not much room to work up to the wall, but really nice and smooth from Tanton. Again, one that saves his equipment very well and always is a factor at the end of the race. And I mean, they're already working through lap traffic. I mentioned earlier that they're going to catch them quickly, especially if you're off the pace even just a little bit. This track is one of those that eats you up real fast. As there's one sideways, Ashton Tucker sideways in turn 2, it looked like, exit of turn 2. He's able to save it, keep it going. We're going to stay clean and green for the meantime as we look back at the U-House Racing Design replay. Looks like just a little contact with that lapped vehicle. Again, I'm sure the 27 didn't mean to get up into him. He got her straightened back out. There's still lots of time. Ashton Tucker, I believe, will be a factor at the end of this race.
Absolutely. Look at that great shot there. You can see just how hard these drivers are on the brakes. Cherry red brake rotors on all of the cars, all the way around. There you can see great shot there on the number 2 machine. And you can see already getting closed back up to the back bumper of the big boss man there, Craig Tully, in that Tulco Electric number 50 ride. Trying to get back up there and into the top 5 once again after sliding back just a few spots. But up front, they're still trying to run down Stanton Woldridge, and that lead shrunk by just a little bit. Chris Roma right there in his tire tracks in the 83.
Yeah, Chris Roma in practice had some really nice lap times. He was in that area of the qualifying times in practice, so he obviously just missed the qualifying setup just a little bit, but he was towards the top of the board in practice, and he was running a lot of laps. I noticed that early on, that he was putting down the laps, he was getting his rhythm, he was trying to figure out the real fast lane, and he's already taken a peek down low on the 56 of Stanton Woolridge. But again, passing at this track is not easy to do, with it being almost a single lane track. So look for him to get back to the bumper and maybe try a different strategy the second time around.
Yeah, you saw how hard the 83 had to get out of the throttle there. Took his nose down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Not quite enough room, and rather than wreck both drivers, elected to back off just a little bit. And that's going to back some of the momentum up. But you can see Starley starting to slowly close in once again. And just really hard on into the corners. And you can see into the shot now on the right-hand side. And now the left-hand side of your screen on the top. There's some lap traffic. Taylor Layton not having a good night in that 27 car, going a second lap down right now. Scott Negus, the first car, 1 lap down in the 55. The next one they're going to catch up to appears to be the number 29 Major Melon Mountain Dew number 29 ride of Danny Vitch.
Something I was noticing, Paul, sorry, that's why I was pausing there for a minute. I was just doing a little bit more research. This track is known for being one of the fastest quarter miles, and I'm going to say that it's mostly the 33-degree banking. You watch a lot of the old videos in the real-life racing, maybe not iRacing, and if you notice, the cars get down in the bottom of that corner. There's a little bump in 1 and 2 that rotates that car just enough for them to be able to get right onto the throttle. Again, you can't be hard on the throttle, as we're on board with Ryan Messer in the white gloves, as we always notice. No sawing at the wheel, no turning right out of the corner, so the back ends aren't sliding around just yet. But there's that bump. You see it in front of him. The boss man kind of clips that yellow line, gets the car to rotate, and then you're able to get back on the throttle. And it just makes this track so much fun and so fast to watch.
And that's one of the things iRacing really got right, too, was the weight distribution of these cars. As you start to burn fuel out of these things, the back end of the race car definitely does get lighter, and you can feel in how it drives. So you can see the 50 car getting down and around. Craig Tully now trying to get up to Ryan, or hold off Ryan Messer, as Ashton Tucker is making his way a little bit closer now to that top 5. That pass, whoa, car up on the high side. They get around it. We stay green. But the 2 car trying to get down underneath the 8 of Laffin for that top 5 spot.
Yeah, my only concern at this point, Paul, is how much work is he having to put in, and how much equipment is he using to get himself back into a better position. I mean, it's maybe not going to be a tire game at this track. It's not going to be a fuel game, I don't believe. But you certainly don't want to run that right front off the car. I heard a lot of guys talking in practice. If you run that right front off, your race is pretty much over. The car just gets such a push that it's hard to get on the throttle as quick as the other guys. So I'm going to say that the game is not necessarily attrition, but attrition of the equipment.
You know, I was in the virtual garage area when you were taking those notes there. The guys definitely used a lot more swear words than you did, though, when they were describing this place on tires.
Yes, absolutely. It was more colorful than what I'm making it.
You guys could definitely be do some color commentary up here for Vidane After Dark.
Absolutely, it would have to be After Dark, 100%. As you see Ryan Messer getting around the boss man, he made that move on the outside, which kind of surprised me there for a second. But momentum is key in any racetrack. I just didn't realize that the top line was going to come in at such a high banked track like this. You don't often see that.
Back up front, you can see keeping an eye on the timing and scoring here. The Wingnut Productions timing and scoring. You can check that out, VidaneTV/scoring, if you want to keep up with where your favorite drivers are on the racetrack. And you can scan that QR code, bam, right there on your screen. That'll take you right up to it, and that'll tell you where your drivers are. And right now you can see it's about 0.4 of a second there as Negus goes up, gets the outside wall. I don't believe that slowed Tanton down any at that point in time, but definitely going to be a distraction with that heavy lap traffic for sure.
Yeah, Negus is holding his own on the outside. I know Tanton just got by him, but great job by Scott to get up out of the way. He's still racing competitively and staying in the throttle. He knows he's got guys behind him that are trying to make positional passes, not racing in any harmful manner, but really keeping up that momentum on the top side. You see through the center how he's able to keep up with the two front cars, and it's almost something to keep an eye on. It's maybe something for Chris Roma to maybe take a peek at and say, you know what, that top side might have something later on in this race. If he has nowhere else to go, he could use it. Tanton Woolridge now working on the back of Caden Tufts. Not a name that I was expecting to go down any sort of laps today, but again, this track is one of those tough tracks as Tanton Woolridge, as you can see, very hard on the throttle about midway down the stretch and then right on to the binders, trying to get that car woed up to be able to go through the center on the bottom of these corners.
And that's one of those things that when I was doing the short track sim racing myself, I could never understand the concept, and it definitely shows that Tanton's kind of figured it out here, because I want to drive that. That's a super high banked corner. I want to drive that thing as hard as I can all the way through the corner, make the butt end of the cars kind of slide around and just make a bunch of noise. You can hear Tanton, he's backing off about halfway down, and then almost 3/4 of the way through the turn, hammering down and aiming for that wall. So very, very smooth here. And you made mention, it's not very often we see Tanton Woolridge get ready to go a lap down, but it's not very often we see somebody so focused in as we've seen Tanton Woolridge here at Slinger. He's led all the laps so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's almost goes to show that even the best of the best, the top of the top, sometimes just might not be able to grab a grip on one of the racetracks, or might not have the exact setup that they're looking for on a night like tonight. And there's nothing wrong with that. If it's not your night, it's not your night. I had one of the old race directors I used to work with. They used to tell the drivers all the time that, if it's not your night, don't make it worse for anybody else. And it'll come around to help you out later on. So as you saw, Caden Tufts just up out of the way. He slid behind Woolridge there for a second, and then realized, the second place car is right behind me. I'm not going to hold him up. Moved up, slid back behind him, and let them do their thing and race for a lead. Just want to shout out Pat Healy from the Laker News. He's watching over on YouTube. He's got a 9 locks in hand. Paul, I don't know if you know what a 9 locks is, but it's a adult beverage that tastes very good, and I'm very jealous. Pat, thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you soon, hopefully in a few weekends at the Scotia Speed World Banquet.
Yeah, big time supporter of VidaneTV, and I'll be up there too. We'll have to have a couple of 9 locks. I've been known to like my adult beverages, but you talked about a couple of drivers not having their night. It's not so much that they're not having their night; it's that Tanton's having his night. He just puts the Conrad Murphy machine, the 89 car, a lap down. Now he's hot on the tails of the 57 of John Byron. That's the 12th and 13th place car. Tanton is on absolute rails here tonight with that 56 car, and you can see it's kind of a methodic movement here at this point, just putting everybody down a lap.
He is, and it's patience. He's not dive bombing. He's not getting into the corner super hard. You mentioned it earlier. He's off the throttle about halfway at the line there, coasting it in, and just letting the guys in front, do their thing. And they realize once he's on his tail, I'm sure their spotters are telling them, hey, that's the leader. Just give him some extra room. Give him a lane that he's looking for, which is the bottom lane right now. And he's doing it very strategically and not using up a whole lot of equipment either.
Great camera shots all the way around here tonight. Got to give a shout out to AC4, Andrew Cardinale, and Whiplash Cams, as we've been using his short track stuff for the past couple of months here at VidaneTV, just kind of tinkering, learning some new tricks to kind of go along with all the other tricks that we've picked up here at VidaneTV over the past month. So definitely got to give them a shout out. Check them out over on Facebook, Whiplash Cams. AC does some great work with the camera angles, and it's always good to have someone with real camera experience kind of working on the iRacing cameras, because you know exactly what you're going to end up seeing.
And we mentioned it with the drivers, or we mention it all the times, bridging that gap between the drivers from the real world to the iRacing world and to the virtual racing in general, not just the iRacing, but any kind of virtual racing. It's the same for us, Paul. I mean, you and I are both very in-depth with the announcing and camera work in the real world, so we get to take our knowledge from all of that and bring it into to the great world of virtual racing where we can do it around the world.
100%. And you and I were talking before we came on air that been in a lot of different places throughout the country, been in a couple of different countries over the past year or two. So looking to expand that for sure. And with all the new teammates and all the new leagues that we've kind of picked up and started working with here at VidaneTV, there's a lot of different folks, a lot of different faces that we're going to be able to get out there and meet, which is really cool to me. And you can see a little side-by-side action between Riley Duncan and Ryan Messer. Starting to heat up just a little bit. Couple of drivers up in front there. Danny Vitch in the 97 car going at it. I don't believe that is for position. It's not, but still showing that Danny Vitch has a quick car, just stuck a lap down because Tanton Wooldridge absolutely on rails here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and I see that down in the bottom corner there. We're looking at the most positions gained, and they're still even going through right now. They're moving up and down and all around, and Travis Roma, it seems to be on a mission. 8 positions gained on a short track like this is not a small feat. That is a lot of cars to pass on such a short track that is everything's happening so quick. 8 positions. Going for possibly 9. I don't know if that. I don't believe that one was for position. I believe the next position is the 8 car in front of him that he is tracking down. The numbers, the split is getting shorter and shorter as the laps go by. So he, just like Tanton Wooldridge, has found a rhythm in this racetrack, and his car looks really good out there.
Back up front, still a little bit more of the same, a little bit bigger gap this time around. Tanton Wooldridge starting to check out as he has over a second lead on second place Chris Roma. And you can see, caution flag flies here at this point. I believe, there you see it, Conrad Murphy. Look at how bright red those brake rotors are. Holy cow.
Yeah, I'm looking to call my pit crew with maybe a bag of ice or some water to try and cool those things down and get another cycle through them. But it makes you wonder if the brakes are starting to go away, Paul. That's it's one of those things in a gaggle of cars. You're going to use more brakes, and that's exactly what we're seeing on the U-House Racing Designs replay. Just a gaggle of cars. The 97 loose on the bottom, just wrong placed, wrong time. Poor Danny Vitch up into the wall. The 89 down onto the infield. So I think that was just a situation of racing, tight racing on a tight racetrack.
Yeah, and we're getting down to the nitty-gritty already. 37 laps to go here at the quarter mile in Wisconsin. Home of Culver's, I think. I'm pretty sure Culver's came from Wisconsin. Have you ever had Culver's?
I have not, and you were talking about a really good burger earlier, and I was so busy this afternoon with work and stuff, I didn't have a chance to have dinner, so you mentioning the burger was kind of a tease.
Yeah, they do really good burgers. Not to these guys, because I forgot to grab dinner too, so I might have to run out. And, maybe this is a bad idea. But no, Culver's a great spot. They're down North Carolina a lot, down in the some of the southern states too. But great burgers, great ice cream. They've got these concrete mixers. You put a bunch of candies and stuff in there. Really, really good for a fat man.
So you put candy in the mixer?
Well, in the ice cream, and they call it a cement mixer.
Oh, well, that's interesting. All right, back to racing. Since the pace car is off, we're about to go green again. Same front row as we've seen all night. Only difference is the 36 and the 1 lining up right behind them, ready to pounce and get on this. It doesn't look... Nope. Looks like we're going to do one more lap under yellow just to get the field all stacked up and in the right position. So you're going to have Noel and Ryan Messer behind these two. So 2 new cats in the game and 2 very fast cats in the game now.
Yeah, Ryan Messer, VidaneTV's Ironman. He's won in almost all of the leagues, if not all of the leagues we handle here on VidaneTV. Great start once again for Tanton Wooldridge. He's able to pull away by a handful of car lengths. 83 is able to break away there as well. Going to put the 36 car back in 3rd place, but he's going to be under quick attack by that 1 car, Ryan Messer.
Yeah, the 36 caught a little bit of the apron when he was on the bottom of the 83. Did a great job of turning that wheel just an extra little bit left to stay off the 83, but killed his momentum a little bit, and the 83 was able to get that position. 36 smartly just kind of fell in behind him. He's going to follow his tracks. There's still 29 to go, 30 to go, so he is under attack, but he's also on the offense, Paul. He's all over the back bumper of that 83.
And you can see in behind that one car, a Messer, he's moved up the track just a little bit, trying to get all the grip that he can and see if he can get a little bit of advantage over that 36 of Fougere. They're side by side in behind him. Craig Tully down on the bottom side. Riley Duncan up on the top. They are going to still be, a little bit of contact there. Tully up into the 97, the 97 up into the wall, and you can almost see Tully turning around like, oh, shoot, that was an accident. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, I don't think Tully meant to. Again, you run out of room really quickly coming off these corners. Oh, Duncan into the wall, the 8 into the back of him. That will bring out the yellow, so that might have been a case of the 97's, back tires getting a little light. You mentioned it earlier. Something iRacing has done very well is the dynamics of these vehicles. So you saw him slide up into the wall, and I think he was a little bit pinched up there the first time around. But the second time around, he got up in there himself, just ran out of real estate, caught off the gas, and the 8 car, I believe, of Dylan Black, just nowhere to go. Got into the back of him, gave him a little bump ski, and ended up bringing out the yellow, sadly. So both those guys are going to go on to pit road, try and get whatever little bit of damage they can repaired, and make their way back out. That doesn't change the front row, Paul. We still got Tanton Woolridge out front. He has led every lap of this race.
Every lap, question mark?
Yes, that was a question mark.
Just checking. I feel like we should have that stat. Why don't we have that stat?
I feel like we do somewhere. You got so many stat pages now; it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to find out.
We're gonna have to hire a statistician to just keep up with us.
We might just have to do that. But we could. I know we could push this button and it shows the fast time. That's still Ryan Messer. Quick time with a 1, 2, 3.
That's one of the most exciting things this year is all the improvements you've been making on your end. I know we've got a couple spreadsheets on the go that you and I are always playing around in with sponsors and just drivers information, trying to gather as much as we possibly can. And on that note, we are about to go green, but if anybody's out there listening, just looking to throw some sponsorship around, get your name out there on the iRacing world, just contact Paul over at VidaneTV, and we'll hook you up.
Yeah, whether it's a car, a race, some kind of award, anything, we can definitely find a spot to put your brand, put your logo, and put yourself in front of the eyes of some of the most brand loyal fans out there. Not only with race fans, but sim racing fans, because it's always cool to see when folks support this hobby of ours that we have. And right now, Tanton Woolridge driving like it's not a hobby. He's driving like it's his job. He's pulled away by 0.3 of a second now over Chris Roma. Ryan Messer now the new third-place car as Noel Fougere slides on back to fourth. Craig Tully rounding out the top 5. How about Dylan Black? I don't think we've mentioned his name all night here tonight in the 08 car. He's running in 6th. Ashton Tucker still trying to recover. He's back in 7th. Devin Laffin in the 8th car running in 8th, and Travis Roma in 9th. JJ McRae rounding out the top 10 as they run.
It's funny, Paul. We had this conversation last night about all the different places you've gone and people cheering for your name. And I mentioned that I went to Flamborough Speedway. And somebody approached me towards the end of the night and asked if I had brought you with them. And I didn't bring you with me, sadly. But that person that I'm talking about is Justin Collison. And he just popped up into the YouTube chat. So shout out to Justin. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. He's asking what league we're watching right now, so I was just explaining to him that it's the RBR League, a bunch of guys from the Maritimes here that get together and run a 7-race schedule. It is by invite. If you want to reach out to Craig Tully, Travis Roma, Chris Roma, any of those guys, I'm sure they will take it into consideration. We are 2 races in with 1 drop race, so you can throw a Hail Mary and try and make it in, Justin. I know he's one hell of a driver, both in the real world and on iRacing. A lot of respect. Watched him race a lot of races up at Flamborough Speedway, and it was always a pleasure to watch him and his dad get behind the wheel.
Absolutely, and that's why we do what we do, why we do how we do here at VidaneTV, and we're just trying to entertain the masses and have ourselves a little bit of fun. And I usually say, on like Tuesday or on like Wednesday, but it's 4 nights a week. It is 4 nights a week, 4 shows a week throughout now and the month of March. Going to be a blast keeping up with that. Lights off on the iRacing pace car, and we're going to get a little bit more racing. Going to take the green flag with 10 laps to go here at Slinger.
Yeah, we're down to the 10 laps, down to the nitty-gritty. Guys are going to be trying to make their moves now more than ever. So tight quarters and a great jump by Tanton again. And same thing with Roma. He was able to get down in front of the one car. Got a little bump there to let him know that Ryan Messer was there, but that moved Messer up the track as the yellow comes out again.
Yeah, this replay box isn't doing what I wanted it to do, so we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. See if we can take a peek back at the tapes. I don't see... Definitely heard some contact with that outside wall, but I'm not seeing where it was on the tapes here as we kind of skim on through it. But that's another opportunity, another one of these late race restarts with single-digit laps left to go on the night. Tan Woldridge has been perfect on restarts all night long. Do you see 2, 3, 4 more maybe of these perfect restarts, or do you start to see, a little bit of wear and tear on the driver, maybe a little bit of wear and tear on the equipment? Do we maybe see Tanton Wildridge slip up on this, or maybe another restart?
We rarely see Tanton Woolridge slip up, but I'm not saying it can't happen, especially by the guys he's surrounded by. Roma, Messer, Fougere, all guys we've seen win late race restarts. It's certainly not out of the question, but Tanton Woolridge has been, I don't want to say perfect, because I feel like if something happens, he's going to say that it was my fault, but he has been near perfect all night.
This racetrack is so small, we could almost do the whole show from this speed shot. Watch, as soon as we get to the end of the field, the pace car comes around. Whoop,
I see the light. I see the lights. And last car and first car.
Oh, man. Wish I saw that 120 laps ago. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I can't believe we're down to 5 to go, Paul. This is going to be one exciting finish as they're starting to stack them up coming to green.
Oh, this is going to get wild. We've seen these RBR guys do some crazy things here on short tracks, and this is going to be no other. Great start from Tanton Woldridge. That's the restart that he needed. Chris Roma able to break away. Messer still holding on to third for right now, but from no Fougere, it's up on the high side. Big slide from Messer in the one.
That's called pushing it to the limits for Messer. He knew it was go time. He knew he had to make a move as soon as possible. The yellow's out again. The boss man. Looks like he was involved this time around as he was backwards on the front stretch. Doesn't look like he got the worst of it, though, somehow.
Yeah, close quarter racing. You can see everybody kind of accordions up there. Ashton Tucker hard on the binders. Byron not as hard on the binders as Tully, and there you can see a couple of other drivers getting a piece of it. Leighton getting a piece of it as well. That 27 car wants to go home. He's had himself a rough night here tonight at Slinger, but still carrying on and still trying to get a good finish out of this one.
He hasn't. You know what? I'm going to give him props for sticking with it. He could have been gone a long time ago, and the car really doesn't look that bad. But he's just had a rough night altogether. It seems like he's just not been in the right place at the right time in any instance. So great on him for sticking it out. And he's going to get some points at the end of the night. And we mentioned it earlier on in the show. It's 7 races. Every point counts.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe we have to get a sponsor lined up and just get ourselves a weekly Damn Bud award.
It wasn't your night award.
I like it. Lights still on here for a second or two as we get around Slinger here. Another green-white checkered attempt here, and it's pretty cool to see. We saw a couple of those last night with the Fast 1 late model national drivers coming on with race number 2. We did a little highlight package and rewatched last week's race at Loudon last night after the main event of the evening. So that was pretty cool. We got some street stocks tomorrow night with Turn 4 Podcast Winter iRacing League, and then the NEP Super Truck Series is back at it this Thursday night. But before we get all there, we got a couple of laps that we've got to finish up here with the RBR Season Ocho race number 2 here at Slinger. Oh no, the pace car's drunk, but we're back green flag racing.
Never seen that before, Paul. Oh, Roma's a little sideways on the backstretch. There's black up into the wall. I believe this was
taking
just
the white. No, we didn't take the white.
We did not take the white. I believe this was a massive confusion just off the fact that the pace car didn't pull off, because I thought we were taking an extra yellow lap.
Yeah, we'll see if we can. We'll back up the tapes here on the old replay box. We're gonna take a peek from the blimp. I think the blimp is the safest seat here. There's the pace car not going anywhere. Everything else looked okay with the start. Definitely gaggled up here just a little bit. And there's the calamities. They get into the wall. Driver's kind of trying to get down and around. So you could see it was close, but we got the caution before we got the white flag. So that's going to give us one more attempt at a green-white checkered.
Do you think they switched pace car drivers?
They might have had to switch pace cars after that.
I mean, from the one running into the barrels in the NASCAR race on Sunday to this guy not pulling off the racetrack, I think we're gonna have to put out a bid for new pace car drivers. I know we've got one in the field. Scott Negus is in the race car, and he's maybe supposed to be in the pace car. That's maybe the problem.
Now I know I'm good at a lot of things, but when you have one job.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say his radio died.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe some kid had like the remote control car from like the Toyota commercial from back in the day.
Yeah,
we're gonna call it that. All right, so he's going the right spot this time. See you later, bud. Thanks for coming out.
He just knew there was going to be another yellow.
Yeah, he's like, oh, what's this? Green flag flies once again. Barney says, go, go, go. Up into the outside wall. We stay green this time. Fougier's up to second after that slip up from the one car of Messer, coming into 3 and 4 with 1 lap to go.
Just sitting pretty in that third spot, though, is Travis Roma. And I talked to he was on a roll earlier, so he has the most positions gained. And he's not going to be close enough to close the deal, but Tanton Woolridge going to come out in 3 and 4, take the checkered flag. He is your winner for race 2 of the RBR Ocho Series.
RBR Ocho, I like. How about that flag hold shot there at the end of it? Oh, look at everybody just trying to get into pit road at the end there. Calamity ensues at Slinger, but what a phenomenal race. The RBR Maritime group definitely not disappointing here, as you can see Caden Tufts coming up to give him a fist bump with the race car. And there's the top 10 after 136 laps. Tanton Woolridge coming home strong here tonight. Noel Fougier in the 36 car going to finish in second. Travis Roma going to finish in third. We're going to talk to those guys here momentarily. Caden Tufts, Chris Roma going to round out the top 5. Craig Tully, Dylan Black, Brian Messer, John Byron, and Devin Laffin going to round out the top 10.
Really great race, a lot of side-by-side action, a tight racetrack, a lot of fun to watch. They always put on a great show. Really cool to see Roma make his way up to third. A nice podium finish, a good points night for all 3 of these guys. Tanton Woolridge just kind of put on a clinic for these guys tonight, and I think a lot of them are going to be going down to him in the virtual garage asking for the setup.
Oh, for sure, and we'll see if we can get caught up with some of these drivers in the top 3, and we're down on pit road. I believe you've caught up with the second place driver, Mr. Fougier.
Yes, I have. Noel, another very impressive race, a race that attrition of equipment is so key at this racetrack. What more did you need to catch these guys and make your way to the front?
For starters, not knocking the fence down with about 20 to go would have helped, because then I felt like I was driving a dump truck for the rest of the race. No, but Tanton pretty much was checked out the whole race, as usual. So I was basically just trying to survive there at the end. This is a very, very small racetrack, as I'm sure you can see. So things happen very quickly around here. So as you said, it's all about attrition and survival and keeping your tires under you. I know it's hard in this league where we only get one set for the whole race. So that's always in the back of your mind, trying to keep the tires on it while trying to still be aggressive at the same time. But it was surprisingly, I shouldn't say surprisingly, this is a good group of drivers, but the racing was very clean overall. Congratulations to Tanton on the win. Should be an interesting season here. This is a welcome second place after last week. I think I finished 14th or 15th. So we'll see if we can keep this momentum going next week.
Absolutely, and I believe you jumped into a legend car in PEI. It was this week or this past season, and was it one of Tanton's cars?
It was, yeah. I had the opportunity to go racing up in. It was Riverglade, New Brunswick, actually. For the first weekend they opened Riverglade Speedway, Tanton was heading up for an open practice session, and he had his second car with him, so he asked me if I wanted to come and turn some laps, which is absolutely incredible. I still blows me away that something that even happened. So I can't thank him and his dad enough for the opportunity. But this track actually, minus the banking, reminds me a lot of Riverglade, New Brunswick. My arms are tired. You're turning all the time. You come out of one turn, you're going right into the next. You're mentally worn out. So maybe that's why I finished second. Maybe I got some real world experience to help me tonight.
Absolutely, and as always, there's sponsors that help you get to the real world, to the virtual world. Who helps you out?
Yeah, I got to thank my grandparents for watching tonight. They always tune in whenever I'm doing a race, so they're always my biggest supporters on here. So thanks to them. Thanks to you guys for putting on a broadcast. To Kyle for doing race control. This race had a couple hiccups, I'll say, just with the size of the racetrack, but he handled it well and everything worked out. Check out NF Auto Care on Facebook and Instagram if you're looking to get your car detailed in the Antigonish area. Besides that, yeah, just thanks to everyone that makes it happen.
Awesome, congratulations, great run again, and hopefully next week it's one better.
We will try our best. Thanks, Ashton.
Hey, Paul, I think you have caught up with another driver that's on the podium. I think you're with our winner. Is Tanton Woolridge down here?
Indeed, he is coming home with another victory here in the RBR series. We're gonna have to put together a stat sheet just to see how many wins that is total now here at this point. But I mean, the most important thing, the most important question on everybody's mind after talking to Noel there, who finished second, can I drive the Legend car?
If you go,
That's a
have a plan
solid
to take it
maybe.
up, then maybe. We had 2 cars last year, but we sold one of them this year. So, we're gonna scale back a little bit on the Legend car next year. Focus on some other racing things. But yeah, no, it was awesome to have Noel in the car. This past season, he impressed and turned a lot of heads. So, if there's somebody that needs a driver to either fill in, or if you got an open seat and you're trying to go to the racetrack, Noel's your guy. So, be sure to hit him up.
Absolutely. You made mention there's a lot of different things you can do in the sport of racing and motorsports in general. Is there anything kind of on your plate that we can announce for next year, or are we just kind of are we kind of holding off for right now?
From what I've been told, I guess we're gonna go full time on the Super Late Model Series next year with O1 Motorsports, which is just an incredible opportunity. And um, last year I had to make a choice at the start of the year, and it might have left me without ever racing a pro stock again. And those guys took me under their wing and gave me a shot in one of their older chassis, their 24 car. And it's just been amazing from there. They've greeted me with open arms, and there's not many people that will ever provide an opportunity like that. So really excited for that for 2025.
Absolutely. When someone gives you a shot to really pursue something you're good at and something you're really passionate about, it's definitely it's an eye-opening thing for sure, and it's very humbling. I can definitely relate to that. But got to give you an opportunity. There's more folks out there that help you get to and from the virtual track and the real racing track. We'll give you an opportunity to thank anybody out there that's watching.
Yeah, so a big thank you to my grandfather. I was down working on the Legend car today, getting ready to put our front clip on that. Um, and he lets us use his shop almost every winter, and I'm sure there's plenty of other things that he wants to do in there. Um, but yet he always, is open about having our race cars in there. So, huge thank you to him. Huge thank you to Dad for all the work that he's done over this past season. It was nonstop for him in the shop. Me and him, along with Corey Rayner, we're in that shop almost every single night, whether it was late models or Legend cars. We were out there every night, and those guys, they never even questioned it. So, huge thank you to them. Huge thank you to Craig Tully for all the background work and trying to organize all this. You for putting on the live streams every night. And I think a man that deserves a lot of credit tonight is the race director. I
Kyle?
saw Kyle Gammon. Yeah. The Slinger is a racetrack that it can screw up the sim in so many different ways. Like the green flag is almost thrown in 3. The pace car sometimes decides it wants to stay on the racetrack. You got 10-second laps. Just there's almost everything can get messed up, and I don't think he's done this a whole lot before. And he nailed it tonight, because there was plenty of times where blacks could have not gotten cleared, and with it being 10-second laps, then you can get DQs, and he figured it all out. And I think at the end of the night, everybody has to be pretty happy with that. So Huge applaud to him. All the Romer brothers, my real world sponsors, Livingston Steel, Oba Motorsports, Speedway Performance Parts. There's plenty more, but huge thank you to everybody, and good first 2 rounds on this series, and we got to keep on going forwards.
Getting it done in a big way here at the little track here at Slinger 10. Congratulations, man. Great run.
Thank you.
And last but not least, a little bit there further up there on pit road, you've caught up with Mr. Roma there in 3rd place.
I have, Travis. That was one heck of a run from the 38 machine. We believe you passed the most amount of cars tonight. Did you have anything left in that race car for the top 2?
Man, I was just trying to survive. I was at my nephew's hockey game tonight, so by the time I got logged in, I had no laps of practice. I qualified second last on the field, I think. So it just, I knew sometimes it comes together in the race just because the pace is different, and I'm not great at qualifying at the best of times. So it just kind of worked out with the cautions and stacking the field back up a little bit. I know I was getting the warning that they were coming. Chris and Tant were coming to put me a lap down there at one point in the race, but then caution came out and stacked it back up. So I was just happy to see those. And after last week, I ended up quitting out of last week's race just because I kind of got messed up coming into the pits, and bonehead move trying to beat the pace car off, and I was going probably 75 miles an hour quicker than I should have been. So anyway, we scratched last week and started fresh this week. So definitely happy with the 3rd place. The night could have. I know I was riding in 10th there at one point, and I said if I can keep a top 10 tonight, I'd be happy with that. So, but yeah, I just want to thank you guys and for putting on the show, and Tully for organizing all this stuff. We got our name on it, but Tully does all the legwork for it. And thank the RBR boys, and the boys in the body shop will be happy this week. Not too much work, so.
I was actually going to mention that at one point. I was talking about all the positions you had made up. You had made up 8 or 9 positions, and just with how tight the camera was, I didn't realize we went to a wider shot and leaders were right behind you. And I was just talking about how many positions you had moved up, and the caution come out. It fell your way. It's great to see you up on this podium. You guys put in a lot of work. I know you guys do a lot of work on the outside of things other than just on race night. So we appreciate all the work you guys do and letting us come out here and have some fun. And is there any other sponsors you really want to help or you want to shout out before the night gets crazy with the party?
Well, I think I just want to shout out all the guys that come on and sponsor these races too. A couple of them helped us out in our real world cars like Riser Fab and stuff. So thanks to those guys. And I know it's not a free ride to get this thing up and going. So, and I know puts in a few extra dollars that he doesn't need to be doing too. So yeah, just thanks to you guys. Congrats to Tanton on the win. And we're just going to go race by race.
That's fantastic. Hopefully we see you, I know I said to Noel, I hope we see him 1 better next week, but maybe we'll see you 2 better next week.
Oh, you never know. I used to get pretty fired up over this whole iRacing deal. So now I try to just race, and if I need to quit, and if I need to say, hey, good run for that week, good run, and just kind of don't think about it until next Tuesday night.
That's awesome. Well, we'll see you next Tuesday, and hopefully we see you up on the podium again.
All right, thanks, guys.
Well, Paul, another one in the books. Another exciting one in the books. A great run from all these drivers. All the drivers were mentioning a very tight racetrack, tight quarters. 10-second laps isn't a lot of time to make the moves. The race director did a hell of a job tonight. The pace car driver had one too many drinks, but that's okay. We'll ignore that.
Yeah, we'll ignore that part. Everybody makes mistakes every now and again. I can definitely attest to that for sure. But, man, it's going to be great to see these guys back here next Tuesday night. Going to be doing some more short track racing. Before we get there, though, a pair of shows, the trio of shows in front of that tomorrow night, the Turn 4 podcast. Winter iRacing League running some street stocks tomorrow night, Thursday night, the NEP Super Truck Series, and then Monday night, the Fast One Late Model Nationals coming on back to us. We've got short track racing four nights a week here at VidaneTV. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Anybody heading out to Virginia International Raceway, be sure to give me a hi and a fist bump if you see me down there. We're doing the little camera operations for the NX Road Course Nationals. That's going to be a good time this weekend for sure. You'll be able to check that out over on uslegendscars.tv or uslegendscarstv.com, I believe, is the website. But until the next time we show you, we'll catch you on the flip side. And when we do, we are
Doing it live.
doing it live. All right.